So yeah, we're gonna be doing some St. Louis rib portions today, almost like these little riblets, which are just pieces of St. Louis rib cut across the bone, similar to what you might see with like flanken ribs, if you've ever had those beef ribs that are cut across the bone. And what's fun about this is, you know, I wasn't planning to do those as a video, but they were available when I was shopping at Costco, and I thought, I'm gonna use these. The other part that's fun about this is I didn't really know what I was gonna do with them. Well, I'm gonna hit them with a good rub, but first I need to get a glaze made, because when we put these on the grill tomorrow, we're gonna glaze them. And I just decided I was gonna show you how I sometimes decide what to make as a glaze or sauce for ribs. It doesn't always have to be super traditional. Sometimes I like to find ingredients which are just gonna be fun to use and taste great, and that's the case today. So for this glaze, we're starting with a 1.5 cups of just regular old ketchup. This is what you would find in a lot of barbecue sauce recipes. First up, 2 tablespoons of bourbon. Next up, a 1/4 cup of apple cider vinegar. Now before we add our final ingredient, the one that I found which I thought would be good in something like this, I want to mix this together a little bit. Just go slow here because you got really thin ingredients and the thicker ketchup. And this is not one of those sauces or glazes that you're gonna have to cook first. This is just gonna go in a container in the refrigerator, covered overnight while our ribs are soaking in their seasoning rub. And now I'm gonna add about a 1/4 cup of a cherry chipotle bourbon fruit spread. I just happened to find this in a store, had a little taste of it, thought this is gonna be good in a glaze. It sort of doubles up on our bourbon component here today. A little bit of bourbon in this and our bourbon that we added in. So this is roughly a 1/4 cup. And I'm gonna mix this in. And this will take a little bit because it's very thick. But you wanna take that time. You could do this in a blender if you want. I just don't wanna have to clean a blender. And fruit spreads and things like that are a really wonderful way to add flavor to sauces and glazes. They also bring that sweetness without having to add a lot of, say, brown sugar or something. Ketchup already has a lot of sweetness to it. Let's get a little taste of this. That's gonna be a nice glaze on those ribs. All right, I'm gonna cover this up. It's gonna go in the refrigerator, and we're gonna move on to seasoning up our riblets. So here we have our little riblets. As you can see, they're just like a piece of St. Louis ribs that have been cut across the bone to create shorter little rib sections. These things are fun for like party ribs, where once you get them done, you just cut these into individual little tiny ribs. Really good. Now I'm just gonna season them up. Don't need a binder, there's good surface moisture on here. And what I'm gonna be using today is Texas rib grind from Chicken Fried Barbecue. You can use any rub you want on these. Again, this is about kind of experimenting, taking flavors for things like in the glaze, and on the rub here, just use anything you want. But this is a really good rub. We got some edges here, so we want to get our edges. You can see the membrane is still there on portions of these. I'm not going to worry about that. And these are going to rest right on this rack uncovered in the refrigerator overnight. As I often say, if I can get some of the preparation done the day before, I love to do that. That way I can just fire up the grill the next day and get to cooking. A little bit on the back here. Get our next side. We'll give our top side a last little dusting here. Again, I didn't trim any of these up. These are straight out of the package. This is one of those really easy cooks. I'm going for simple. Not every cook has to be very complicated. In fact, I prefer the ones that aren't. I prefer low stress cooking and grilling where you can enjoy your time out at the grill. All right, those are looking good. They're gonna go in the refrigerator now overnight. And I'll see you tomorrow out at the grill. All right, the Camp Chef Woodwind WiFi 24 is up to temp. I'm shooting for 250 degrees today, and I have my smoke level set at 4. It is a warm spring day here, 92 degrees. Let's go ahead and get these riblets on.
Now I have a mix of pellets in there today. It's sort of like a pellet roulette. These are the pellets that come out when I dump it and clean the smoker. They all go into sort of a bucket and I save them. And for a day like this, there's a mix of charwood in there, cherry, hickory, pecan. So we're gonna get a good mix of smoke flavor on these. This is all about fun today. So we're gonna let these go about 90 minutes, then we'll check them, see how they're doing. When they're cut like this, they tend to tenderize a little bit more quickly than whole racks. And if they're ready at 90 minutes, we'll go ahead and glaze them. So I'll see you back here in an hour and a half. All right, we've been going 90 minutes. The smell coming off this is really good with those ribs, but that mix of pellets too. I get hickory in it, but I'm getting other things and it's just smelling really great out here. So let's go ahead and check our riblets. You might hear the fan of the pellet grill in the background here. That's just normal. All right, let's go ahead and check these for tenderness. Well, they're feeling pretty good. Let's also just do a flex test on one of these. This is one of the thinner ones. It's flexing, but not completely done. We do have good pullback on the bones here. I want these to tenderize a little more, so I'm gonna let these go 30 more minutes and then we'll glaze them. So I'll see you back here in half an hour. All right, we just went another 30 minutes, so that's a total of 2 hours now, and it's gonna be time to glaze these. They're fully cooked, they're just not 100% tender yet. This next phase of the cook while they're glazed will get them to tenderness. Those are looking fantastic. Let's go ahead and give these a nice glaze. All right, we're gonna let those go for probably 30 minutes, then they're gonna be done. Get them off and get them inside. All right, here are our finished ribs. So we had 2 hours on the grill, 90 minutes plus 30 minutes, then another 30 minutes glazed, and then these rested for about a half an hour. So total time on this, roughly 3 hours. But check my math on that. So let's go ahead here and, I don't know, I put 3 here. I'm gonna go with the middle one. Let me set this big guy over here and this little one over here. And I'm just gonna cut. And cut them into some little riblet sections. Now some people with these, they'll do this first, cut them into smaller sections, glaze them up, put them on the grill. Nothing wrong with that. But here we go, we got a nice little smoke ring in there. And let's just see if we're tender just by sort of pinching this. Yeah. Oh, that's good. That's how I like it. I say that all the time. I don't like fall off the bone. I like bite away from the bone, and this is perfect for that. They just have sort of that snacky feeling to them. It's the rib equivalent of chicken wings. You know, I want to cut into this big guy here, because just like on ribs, you're going to have some thick sections, some thin sections. Let's check our bones here. Oh, look at that. Again, nice smoke ring on this one. Let's see. I'm gonna use a very unchefy word here, yummy. So if you can get these sort of cross-cut St. Louis ribs or baby back ribs or spare ribs, like I just call them riblets, that's just what I call them. They're just such a terrific way to make these with rub, with any sort of sauce you want. We made that glaze. I think that goes perfectly with this.